a new Biden administration, it would appear that China is most certainly in charge. The official Chinese Communist Party's news agency posted this meme on Twitter earlier today because they still have a Twitter account. They are absolutely gloating at this very moment, saying, "Good riddance, Donald Trump." Democrats are squarely in the corner of the Chinese Communist Party in the same way that they're in the corner of the Iranian regime, the same as they are in the corner of the Venezuelan Maduro regime. It is a very clear picture that's being painted, and it's fairly disgusting. But the only way that you can take out the garbage is if you can identify what the trash is. Well, late yesterday, we finally got declassified Russia collusion documents. Christopher Steele admitted back in September of 2017 that he leaked his dossier back in 2016 for what purpose? To help Hillary Clinton win. This is the kind of stuff that has been covered up by our intelligence community ever since President Donald Trump took office, and it is a sad, sorry statement about the way that our government does business. Last week, President Trump had asked that the Russia collusion documents finally be released to the public, and we got the first one yesterday. On Tuesday night, just hours before President Trump was set to leave office, that first batch of documents was released, and they are related to the FBI's interview with former UK MI6 agent Christopher Steele. That document shows that dossier author Christopher Steele admitted to the FBI he leaked the Russia collusion story during the height of the 2016 election in order to help Hillary Clinton overcome her lingering email scandal, and because he believed Donald Trump's election would be bad for U.S. relations with his home country of Britain. And that's according to documents declassified by the president in his final full day in office. The FBI report of agents' interview with Steele in September of 2017, nearly a year after he'd been terminated as an informant, provided explosive information about his motives in working simultaneously for the FBI and the opposition research firm for Hillary Clinton's campaign. Now, this document was obtained by Just the News, and at times it reads like a confessional from the now infamous former MI6 agent and author of the anti-Trump PP dossier. Steele told agents that then FBI Director James Comey's decision to reopen the Clinton email investigation in fall of 2016 became his tipping point for leaking the anti-Trump collusion research that his company, Orbis Intelligence, had gathered and then given to the FBI. Now, the most explosive revelation about the subsource in the newly declassified documents was that former Trump National Security Council Russia expert Fiona Hill, an impeachment witness in 2019 against Trump, had introduced Steele to his subsource in 2011, well after the FBI had opened up its probe into that source. It looks like the FBI likely knew before September 2017, but for sure at that time, that the Steele dossier was created by Christopher Steele with the express intention of helping Hillary Clinton. They knew it, but they still kept the Russia collusion fake investigation open for another couple of years so they could hassle President Donald Trump and attempt to remove him from office, trying to subvert our election system. The FBI appears to have been in on it. They were the ones interviewing Steele and taking the notes, so we really can't be sure if we know all of the facts about Steele and the FBI even now, because all of the documents have not yet been released. This is the best we have, and I'm hoping that information continues to come out. But as long as a Biden administration is in power, I don't think we're going to get anything else. Now, one of those sections from the recently declassified documents that was improperly redacted is shown right here, and it discusses the actual payment arrangement that the FBI had with Christopher Steele. And it shows that the FBI definitely paid Christopher Steele to essentially put this dossier together. They paid him 5,000 euros, and it was stated directly in this passage that they did it for the information contained in that dossier. So not only did Christopher Steele create the dossier for Hillary Clinton, but the FBI paid him to do so on top of it. Now, another move President Trump made last night, he gave pardons to 73 individuals, and he commuted the sentences of another 70 people. Now, Steve Bannon is included in this list. I don't know if Brian Kolfage is, but President Trump announced last night that he was going to be issuing these pardons and commutations. He released the individual. It includes 140 names. Unfortunately, all of President Trump's stuff has been wiped from the White House website, but we do have these screen grabs from it. It includes James Roman. James Romans is the father and grandfather who received a life sentence without parole for his involvement in a conspiracy to distribute marijuana. He had an exemplary disciplinary record for more than 10 years that he's been in prison, and he's completed a long list of courses. He's already secured job offers that will help him successfully re-enter society. Now, of course, we had former chief strategist for President Trump, Steve Bannon, on that list. President Trump granted the full pardon to Mr. Bannon, and this is in regards to charges related to fraud stemming from his involvement in the We Build the Wall project. He also included Stephen Benjamin Floyd. This pardon was supported by Representative Mark Green. Mr. Floyd joined the United States Marine Corps at age 17 and earned a combat action ribbon in Iraq. He pled guilty to one count of bank robbery by extortion, and since his release from prison in 2009, he has exemplified the power of second chances. He's now got a family. He owns a successful car repair business, and his dedication to service includes helping extinguish fires set during the recent unrest and repairing windows and disabled veterans' cars free of charge. Sounds like a great guy. Another person we have on there is related to the Varsity Blues situation. That would be Robert Bob Zangrillo. This pardon is supported by Len Blavatnik, Jeff Palmer, Tom Barrack, Sean Parker, Waleed Abu Zalaf, and so on and so on. He was charged in connection with the Varsity Blues investigation. However, his daughter did not have others take standardized tests for her, and she's currently earning a 3.9 GPA at the University of Southern California. Now, notably absent from the list is a number of people we were hoping to see. Julian Assange, WikiLeaks founder, Edward Snowden, who released those documents from the NSA, also Brian Kolfage, who is the war hero and triple amputee. Also, we were hoping to see Ross Ulbricht, who was the creator of the Silk Road, who was convicted for a number of things, and the entire trial was a sham. So unfortunately, those people are not going to get those last-minute reprieves. Also notably missing from the list is Joe Exotic. He actually hired a stretch limousine to be there at the prison last night. He was expecting to get a pardon from President Trump. I don't know if that's because he was actually in touch with the Trump administration or if he was just hoping against hope. As we all know, Joe Exotic is a character in and of himself. Now, for those of you who stuck around to the very end, I want to show you this post right here because, in my opinion, it lays it out pretty good. It says, like many of you, I am in shock by today, and then I realized why it had to happen and that our favorite Anon told us it would happen, and this needed to happen. Our favorite Anon did tell us that a scare event would be needed. Well, are you scared yet? Number one. In posts 4821 and 4822 from October 7th, 2020, we were told about Biden being sworn in, and would the countries he took bribes from then be in control of the government? Important point I will be coming back to. Number two, Biden had to take a private jet to Washington, D.C., and he was not sent a government plane. This was the first time in history this has happened, and again, I'll get back to it. Number three, many of us assumed when Trump and those in his administration were referring to the next administration, it meant the military. We expected him to step down to remain neutral, as our favorite Anon said, while all of this went down. Trump did say the next administration would take over at noon today. Like many, I thought this was over when Biden was sworn in, as he now becomes the commander-in-chief. Boy, was I wrong. Because of the fraud, as pointed out, if the military has the proof of it, then they have the duty under military code to remove the false government and restore a new legal civilian government under Code 11.3, which triggered when Biden was sworn in today. In post number 26, when 11.3 verifies as the first marker. There was a fear in the McCarthy area that the communists would take over our government, so provisions were put in place for the military to protect us should that happen. These provisions allow the military to take control while they remove the belligerent government and restore a legal civilian government, with the military running the elections to do that. Literally, the military was put in place as the last line of defense of the Constitution should an illegal government be installed. This is why they didn't send a government plane for the president-elect, because they know he is not a legitimate president. president. And once he's sworn in, the government became illegitimate, belligerent, and the military is now responsible for restoring legitimate civilian government. Otherwise, foreign powers will gain control. See number 1. Our favorite Anon said the end wouldn't be for everybody. We have been told by Trump, Flynn, and others that America would soon get a lesson in the Constitution. Well, folks, effective at noon today, when Biden illegally swore in with assistance of foreign nations, he just made the government illegitimate and effectively put the military in control. So while, like many, I thought it was over when Biden was sworn in today, I realize our favorite Anon told us it needed to happen for the military to assume control without it being a military coup. Our favorite Anon said it had to be done by the book. And I have to be honest, I think that this is the point that we're at. This is really something that I was considering was going to happen, but I didn't even want to say it out loud because the idea of Biden being sworn in as president is such a difficult pill to swallow for so many people. But I want to remind everyone, D.C. is still a demilitarized zone. The National Guard has not left. The 10th Mountain Division is still there under the guise of riot control, and there are no riots. There is no one in the streets except for the coup plotters, the people who committed treason and stole our government, made it illegitimate, and our brave men and women in uniform. That's it. And the Pentagon is not cooperating with the Biden transition team. What do you guys think? I know a lot of people are really tired, but I appreciate you sticking with me because it's not only you that needs me, it's me that needs you.